If you all thought that Season 5 tower map was hard to defend, this guy's making things a little more complicated. Hello again everybody, Sebastian here with another Watch Our Realms video. So, in the Season 5 GvG tower map strategy guide that I released early, I kind of showed you the limited positioning that you're going to have with your units, given that this map, if you cluster things, you are going to get burst damage with some of the demon soldiers that we have available in the game, more specifically the bookkeepers. But as you go on the first couple of battles, if you are lucky enough to get the Garnet Guard within the first couple of weeks into your account, it will then change your ability to defeat these maps even more. It'll add a little bit more flexibility. And on the other hand, though, it's going to make it harder for us to defend the GvG map. All right, so let me go to the GvG map. And what I want to show you here in terms of how here for this example here, in terms of what the popular positions are right now that we are seeing, is this is something like this is one. This here can be the wild card essentially, because some people are opting to put it up here. But as I told you before, is that if you can get the bombs to get close to this without them blowing up, either way, they will take this unit down if you give them that opportunity. If you don't have enough DPS and you allow the scourges to come in, they will also target that platform, get it out of the way. So you're then pretty much with a 4-man crew. Then the other thing is, if you put a fighter down here, then you're only limiting that fight to one tile. So anything that is coming this way could do, prospectively can do any damage. You just have to make sure that you have enough DPS for things to not build up, and then you can get rushed through. It's just that the fighter here is just too vulnerable. It's just too vulnerable to the bookkeepers, and if you don't build them tanky enough, sacrificing some attack, maybe some critical damage, or you don't have a protection, something like Lily or Carnelian, then that unit is going to be taken out relatively easily. I have seen some people put here their attacker in this platform here, especially if it's one that gets that extra range when they activate their ultimate. But again, you're limited, right? You have to make sure you build enough reach on them to come back to that ultimate quicker. The other popular it has been putting the tank here, because of course if you put the tank in this one here, now you're limiting the platforms that you can use, because of course putting the tank here, I showed you, you can splash damage these two tanks, they're gone. All right, so you essentially have to then put your tank here. That's what you're limited to. I have seen a lot of formations with the marksman is being placed up here, and then you get something like this in terms of DPS. So usually maybe you can get a slow unit here, or somebody that can do damage and extend this way. If you have Ajax, that is something that I've seen commonly done, and then the healer on this side. That's kind of the positioning here. The other thing that I can tell you in terms of what people like to do is you place your tank right here, they place a fighter here, and then it's one that they make sure that it has a long range. So arrogance, some people here like to use Silitude, but we all know Silitude is limited, so you got to be careful of that. Ardea would be the other one, right? The one that has the long range. They like to put her here with the tank. Valderon is another unit that they like to put here. A lot of it has to do because it's the fact that they have extra lives. But the problem is that if you don't protect the fighter very well, you're going to get bombed, number one, or the scourges are going to get you, especially if you don't give it enough of backup, because one of your DPS units is going to be out of range here. So yes, so very difficult to try to defend. Another one that I've seen, especially with piercers. Now piercers, unfortunately, I don't think they're going to do the job very well. But one of the is especially the ones that have the long range piercers. It's seen something like this with a very long extended healer somebody that has a much wider range than Lily here. If you put a healer here, they're going to get targeted, I've seen it, so that's something that you have to keep in mind too if you want that. So I've seen people select things like this, and they're just trying to make sure that nothing gets by, so they put another tank unit here, or a fighter that has that extra range. They put it down here if they want to. That it has been a less successful type of defense, because of course you only have those two units trying to make sure that the tank does not go down along with the healer. So that is kind of what I'm seeing here. Now here's the thing, is once you adapt your defense to what you want it to look like. So for example, here on mine, I showed you exactly how I had this defense testing out right now. The problem is that now the Garnet Guard is going to add a whole different dimension to the ability you have to do the attack, something like this, or you now have to make sure that you have a way that you're going to build your heroes so you are defending against those units. So here I acknowledge she's going to be vulnerable to bookkeepers, but here's the thing is, number one, I'm hoping that Lily kind of provides a little of a backup, but she is built kind of tanky. So I had a couple of my guildmates test her out. She was surviving the bookkeepers until they got into the rage of Pelagos. Then for him to be able to take him out, keep him distracted a little bit, allow her to regain her health. And at the same time, she's putting the crystal bomb, so it kind of slows things down. So I've seen the strategy, people trying to beat this. So if their bookkeepers are not affiliated really high, they are struggling on bringing I down. But now we have another unit that we have to contend with, because these guys are going to target your platform units regardless whether the tank is there or not. And that's exactly what the Garnet Guard is allowing us to do here in this version of Guild Wars. Here you can kind of see his range, right? And he will prioritize platform units over the tank units. So he is going to, you're going to have to defend for him. There's no question in that. So here are a couple clips that I collected. I'm going to show you exactly how his AI is behaving and what you're going to have to do to make sure that this guy doesn't get you down. Here I collected some clips going against the defense of Mystical. He is a fellow guildmate and a fellow content creator, so go check his stuff out and subscribe to his channel. He does a very good job. He's also here in Forerunners, so he does cover a little bit of what is going on here in Forerunners. Okay, so here again, this is all going to be essentially a Garnet Guard showcase. So here I have Iobar to contend with, and he did put Hatsa down here, so there is the invisibility. So I said to myself, all right, I'm just going to kind of wait him out a little bit and get that invisibility to come off, because I know that at least in his defense here, if I can get Hatsa out of the way and I only have to worry about Iobar, it's easy cake out after this, right? So we have a trusted Templar here, so he will do just fine against Iobar and Hatsu. So now here, Hatsu's coming off invisibility. I released the Garnet Guards, so I released both of them. Right away, they're avoiding the tank, and they're going to focus on Hatsu. So here we go, 1, 2, she is gone. That platform right there now is in a danger zone for these Garnet Guards. The other thing too is that I think one of the ways that you could possibly defend them is to place slow units if you want it here, and make sure that they really don't have the opportunity, or you're gonna have to do magic damage to these guys. Somebody that can do magic damage or has a very powerful normal type of damage to make sure that they don't get to that platform. So that now I got Hatsu out of the way. Everything was then easy peasy after that, because the only real DPS here is Iobar, right? Now, the other thing that I was looking for here in terms of the targeting was trying to see if they were going after Aileen. They do, or Eloin, excuse me. They do, but they look like they got damage in there a little bit quicker before that. Here's the other thing that I was telling you. So here Mary is susceptible because she is in this platform by herself. So what I was telling you was that if she is not going to get bombed or get taken out by the scourges, these guys are going to do the job for us. So see, they just took a couple of hits at Mary. Mary did not have any healers around her, and now I don't have to worry about the CC of Mary. And now I only have to contend here with Maul and Silas to finish him off. So again, it's going to be really hard to defend him. And if he would have placed Mary in this platform here, she would have been targeted just as quickly, avoiding the tank. So they might have thrown a couple of rocks at the tank, but once Mary would have been in their range, that's what they would have been targeting. Okay, so here's the next fight. This actually went into the central keep, because this is the Ingrid map, right? So he did not have Ingrid, but the AI is going to behave the same. So as long as you can protect them from Ingrid. So here in this situation here, if it would have been Ingrid in the Silas spot, I would have waited for the 10 and then released the healer right behind these guys. Give them a little bit of protection and make sure they got to the range where Grid is. Now, Grid is going to get his ultimate off, but that's it for him. That's it. I got rid of the CC or DPS in this platform. So if you can get your Garnet Guards to get close enough, even with Ingrid in the platform, you're going to be able to get rid of this. So now you have to adjust your thinking of how you're then going to deal with any type like Ma. Ma has been the classic Ingrid counter, and one of the things that we have to do is make sure that our Ma sustains the whatever CC is coming from here or damage that is coming compounded with this too. So if you put a unit down here now, you're going to get taken out by the Garnet Guards. So now you're probably going to have to put a fighter down here, but we have strategies again that we are going to allow us to now get through this central map a little bit easier. So it kind of cuts down your roster a little bit. So that's kind of how that Garnet Guard is behaving there. Now let me show you what he's doing when we start placing defenses up top. So in this one here, he did allow me to kind of, place a type of defense that some people rely, especially when they put this formation on. So if you're going to see something like this, now, right now I just released the Templar to kind of get the ultimates out of the way and make sure that my Garnet Guards did not get taken out too easily. Now I have to slow this down because you're gonna have to see it. I want to make sure that you see it, because once they get into range, so I think I'm gonna slow things down here just so you can see it. So here's the thing. So now they're in range. So that there, right there, he got revived by Lily. These guys took Nocturne out without worrying about the tank. Okay. Now, because there isn't enough damage coming from these units here, and I'm kind of protecting them with the Templar here. The only damage that I'm going to get is from Valkyria. Her ultimate's done, so all I'm getting from her are her basic attacks. They still do some damage to them, but at least now they are going to sustain long enough. So we already wasted Lily's revival here. So if he had another healer besides Lily here, Nocturne would have been taken out. Now I'm going to keep playing this because now they're going to get in front of the tank, and now Lily is out. They target the platform right behind the tank. They didn't have to worry about it. They didn't care that the tank was there. So now that we got the healer out of the way, Broker is bornable unless he has an A5 Broker, but now Broker is just bornable. There isn't much left to do, and then he is taken out there. So that's kind of how his AI is behaving. All right, so now here are some matches that we had here more recently. So just to kind of give you an idea of, I just pretty much said I'm going to kind of restrict myself here and use the Garnet Guards. Now I don't know why he left Silas here all by himself, but that's kind of exactly the type of thing that we want to see for these Garnet Guards to take effect. All right, so again, this is all about principle. This defense is already busted as it is, but I just wanted to show you the kind of the principle of the Garnet Guard here. Now in this situation here, I think I was able to wait it out enough for Silas so I could take him out, and I'm not sure that I time Hex's ultimate all that well, but the key is if I would have gotten to survive a little bit longer, they would have been able to take out Hex. This would have been done, and there's nothing else for me to contend with. So now all I'm left to do is just deal with Iobar and Hex. And like I told you here in this example, my backup was if the Garnet Guards didn't have enough time to take Hex down, let's just go ahead and bomb him out of the way. There isn't enough protection there for Hex. So now I only have Iobar to contend with. He is not going to do it. So we're just going to rush that, and that will be done. So make sure that you protect your platform units. That Hex there needed some type of healer. Maybe he could have swapped Iobar and Elwyn in that regard, just to protect Hex maybe. But yeah, it's going to be very difficult to defend against these units when you place a platform unit up there. Let me go on to the next example here, because this one is a front one, and Ares is not all that scary. So here's what I was telling you about the protection to the fighter is we need enough CC here up the front to make sure that nothing like this happens, which is the first thing that I'm going to do. Anytime that I see this without any CC, it's going to be instant bombs and then just take a unit or two to protect them. So that's what I'm going to do here. So let that roll. Okay, so now Aracha is out of the way, which is fine. Now I only have Silas to contend with, and I have Ares to contend with. So I'm going to let Silence Ultimate get out of the way. Here, I'm going to release the Garnet Guards. Now, again, the tank is there, but they're going to prioritize Silas. So if Silence is not tanky enough, and I have affiliated them high enough, 2 hits, take Silas out. The rest is easy. The rest is easy. I already have 2 DPS units out of the way. I have the CC unit out of the way. Everything is cake after that. So, yeah, it's going to be really hard to build a really good defense to try to defend against everything now with this map. Fighters are limited, and now we have to contend with the fact that we have to really protect our platform units. All right, so let me fast forward a little bit here. All right, so in this one, same thing, but now I think that he was thinking the Warriors was going to provide enough of a safeguard, but that is not the case. Now, here's the thing that I'm going to show you is that why this platform here is no longer safe after these Garnet Guards are more abundant. Because as soon as I released them and there was no way to CC them, no way to damage them right away, no way to take them out, you saw it, they took up Boreas. This Hatsud surprisingly was a little bit tankier, so you saw that they aimed 2 rocks at her, and that was it. As soon as they made that turn, they just focused on the tank, but they avoided Hatsud. But that Hatsud there had at least enough HP to avoid 2 hits from her, and that's why she remained alive. Unfortunately for Hatsud though, because she does the piercing damage, these guys could not be taken out, so you saw what happened there. Okay, here again, just showing you this platform unit here is going to be not as reliable, and unfortunately he does not have enough CC here or anything coming down here or anything up here to make sure that the Garnet Guards do not do their thing. And I'm going to wait it out again because we have to wait for Hatsu's to come out of the invincibility. So right here, the one thing that I want to do is start the ultimates, get them out of the way, because everything after that is going to be cake. I'm not worried too much about Velderon, especially if I'm able to get Hatsu out of the way. Why? Well, because we got healer, fighter, tank here, and there's a Racha here. And one of the things that I'm learning too is that people are building tanky Arachas because they know that the bookkeepers could just aim here and take these 2 units out, especially if they get that one hit. But in this situation here, once now that I got Hatsu out of the way with the Garnet Guards, now I can just fly over, not worry too much about a Ratchet really getting down my Lightning Guards. The Lightning Guards are going to clean things up, and then after that, I just send flying units over. So it's free airspace after that. And I think that that's pretty much the last one here that I have in terms to give you an example as to how this unit is going to behave. Mine are level 1 right now. I have no idea how many fragments are going to drop throughout the life of the season. I imagine maybe I can get them to level 2 and get them a little bit stronger. Either way, they're going to be very hard units to avoid. It's going to be hard to build defenses against the units as well. So we're going to need a lot of CC up front. This platform, I'm going to have to figure out a way to protect it a little bit more. And I cannot move this unit up here. That's the unfortunate part, because if I move it up there, who's going to come out? It's going to be the bookkeepers, and then there's nothing else holding up here. So there's definitely going to be a lot of testing that I'm going to have to do, especially with my guild mates in the global server, because those are overlord ranks as well. They're a little bit tougher opponents there, and we're just going to have to be testing defenses up the wazoo just to try to figure out how to really defend against this guy, because he is going to be a menace. He is a menace. So make sure that you have a good mix of DPS to be able to bring these guys down, bring bookkeepers down. This platform, I'm pretty much giving up on it. The one upper left here where Mary is located, I'm pretty much giving up on it because it's really hard to defend it. If the Garnet Guard doesn't take that out, there are bombs that are going to take it out, or even the Scourges. If you don't have enough DPS to deal with the Scourges and you allow them to build up, they're going to take that out as well. So that platform to me is out too. So well, I'm going to leave it there. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what the Garnet Guard is doing, and now it is going to be your job to try to defend against it, and especially when it starts popping in week 2, week 3. I did see some guilds here in the Forerunners start getting in week 1 because they were lucky enough to get all 10 fragments to drop at once. I had to wait until week 2 to get it. If you have any questions, post them in the comment section below. If you let me know what you think about this little demon soldier. This guy is going to get utilized more frequently now in this map than we did the frozen guys in season 4 map. It's going to be really hard to defend against them. So let's get prepared. Thank you all very much for tuning and watching. Please do leave a like and a subscribe on your way out, and I will see you all in the next Watch Our Realms video.